Some monkeys stood up and shaved a long time ago. They made babies and now there are people. Some moved to Europe. People decided to put seeds in litter and live next to them. This is farming. Farming became the hottest trend. This is called the Neolithic Revolution. But lots of people didn't want to farm, so they just kept eating nuts and berries. Others lived pastoral lifestyles, which is following animals around and eating them. Civilization originated here, 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 and here because of farms. None of which are in Europe, but following animals is cool too, right? People started living in larger bunches. These bunches came to be known as cities. Now everyone could live around the farm, which is where the food is. People without food die. Urban communities became the center of trade and culture because people who didn't want to die went to them. Some people think they are better than other people, and thus the social hierarchy was born. Now the better people get to boss everyone else around. This was the foundation of government. The boss people keep other people from killing and stealing from each other. The Romans and Greeks create a fancy thing called culture. Note, every single civilization ever has a culture. This specific culture sticks around for a while in Europe. Imperial Rome conquers a lot of land and does this hip new thing called administration. They develop infrastructure to maintain their vast empire. People tend to like going places and trade and being able to drink water, so roads and aqueducts are built too. Sometimes people want stuff, but the people who own that stuff don't want your stuff in exchange. Standard currency becomes a thing that people use to buy things. This is much easier than logs and food. Everyone realizes how great dads were and made them the heads of their families. This is called patriarchy. Everyone starts trading more of their stuff by going through the Mediterranean, spreading wealth, ideas, and goods to Greece and Rome from the Middle East and beyond. Greek and Roman philosophers use these hot new ideas to
logic, and rational thought
to develop philosophies that last to this day. Greek theater and drama as well as architecture become the hottest new thing, and they show that Europe can be trendy just like the rest of the world too. Christianity pops up over in the Middle East because of Jesus and quickly spreads to Europe. At first, Rome didn't like Jesus because he was too edgy and challenged the government's power over people. Then Constantine became Christian and suddenly Jesus gets spread all over Europe. People like bread, people like circuses. When things got bad in Rome, the government decided, hey, how about we give them all bread and circuses? It worked. They held off a revolt. It also didn't work at all. Everyone was having too much fun and didn't do anything else, and society collapsed from invasion and corruption. So now that Rome's not a thing, how are the rich people supposed to protect their stuff from criminals who want to steal their stuff? Hire a knight, that's how. Regional kings are supposed to be the head of the government, but they just sat around looking fancy. It was really the nobles running the show, and they were the ones who hired the knights. All the poor people started becoming serfs, who were essentially people who gave the noble stuff so that they could stay on his land, protected by his knights. This is called feudalism. Lots of nobles wanted the other noble stuff, so there were frequent fights between households. After the feudalism calmed down a bit, dedicated trade cities such as Novgorod and Venice popped up. Luxury goods, more sophisticated transportation, banks, and organizations like the Hanseatic League started up as well. The Byzantine and Mongol trade networks also funneled stuff to and from Europe. Uh-oh. Here comes the Black Death, and it kills lots of people, and it moves around on trade networks because that's where people and
rats
move around. It moves around
rats
because that's where fleas move around. Now lots of people are dead, and their friends and family aren't particularly happy about it. The Vikings, Marco Polo, and the Crusades all happen, and they facilitate transfer of goods. So the Middle East is really smart, and during the Crusades, Europe takes some of their smarts back with them, thus improving their understanding of the world. Gunpowder was invented in China. Unlike regular powder, gunpowder explodes. Europe gets a hold of it from the east. Explosions make excellent weapons, and Europe vows to master this new, powerful technology, because weapons are good for killing people you don't like. A man named Gutenberg has a great idea.
Let's make printing stuff be easy. Stop making it so hard,
He thought. This revolutionary idea was the foundation of the printing press. This cutting-edge tech let people print things really fast, which meant that everyone had more stuff to read. Now there are more books because an old man doesn't need to hand copy everything. Emperor Justinian decides that Rome had some good stuff going on with the whole
logic
thing, so he makes the Justinian Code. He copied and pasted Roman ideas and prettied them up a bit. Now this is the basis of law in the Byzantine Empire. Sometimes the man in charge thinks, hey, I should be even more in charge. Then I can have more stuff and wear a cool hat. King Louis Xiv wanted to wear a cool hat, so he became an absolute monarch. Now he has all the power over France, and he can make people do silly things like knock with their little finger and follow him around all day. Europe explored the world looking for cool new ways to make money. Eventually they decided not enough of the world was Europe. They stumbled across a magical place called America. Now they had corn and potatoes and tomatoes. The world was changed forever by access to pizza, cornbread, french fries, and new diseases. They didn't stop at Europe released its spores, and they grew new tiny Europes all over the world. These were called colonies, and they gave Europe resources. Normally people build things they need. Some of these people decided that rivers should do all the work, since all rivers seem to do is sit around all day near the farms. Wheels are put in the water to force it to finally carry its weight in the family. Now the water powers machines that do things really, really fast and efficiently. Machines like water frame make cotton for textiles. The people who build factories make lots of money, but the people who already had money, the aristocracy, don't like them. Factories need people to work on the machines, so the owners give people tiny amounts of money in exchange for the risk of losing a few limbs. Some chumps thought it was a great deal and started working in factories. It was hard to survive because they didn't make much money and could be replaced easily. Factories gave Europe lots of power in trade. Now they can make lots of stuff to sell really fast and really consistently. They use their economic power to bully China. China used to be the coolest civilization on the block, but Europe tells them there is a new way to be even cooler.
Drugs.
Now China is addicted to opium, which it turns out isn't cool at all, and Europe can slide in and trade drugs for Chinese stuff, like tea. Increasing urbanization and industrialization make people grumpy, and grumpy people start revolutions, like the French one. A lot of people died, and it wasn't great, but other people looked at it and thought, what a great idea, let's start our own revolution. So they did. Also, society had a family-shaped hole in it after all the changes messed up the standard family unit, so people began looking at other things. Isms are the new big thing, and they spread like a disease. Socialism, capitalism, feminism, nationalism, you name it, we got it.
Round 1. Fight!
Everyone in Europe has made friends with other countries in Europe. Britain and France are getting scared of Germany. Germany's silly language, abundance of bratwurst, festivals related to October, and increasing power are all really scary. Everyone had cool new weapons to kill each other, so they decided to have a fight and try them out. It worked really well, and lots of people died. Since Germany was so spooky, Britain declared war on it. They had an excuse because Germany was going through their friend Belgium to get to France. Germany was going to France to show them that it was a bad idea to be friends with Russia, since Russia was attacking Austria. Russia was attacking Austria because Austria was picking on Russia's buddies in Serbia, since someone from Serbia assassinated their leader of Austria. Pretty simple, right? European countries made promises to all the little Europes they spread around the world. They said, hey guys, help us with this world war, and we will stop controlling you, then you will have control. This sounded like good deals, so the colonies helped. Then Europe broke the promise and had a good chuckle about it. This made the colonies a bit mad. Germany got blamed for World War I and had to pay a bunch of money.
Round 2. Fight!
A guy with a silly mustache decided to make Germany great again. He got some pals together and they tried to take over the world. The whole world did not appreciate being taken over, so they declared war on Germany, Italy, and Japan. Germany got beat again and was split among the winners to keep them from trying to start another war. Another war started. This war was really cool because people had nukes. It was so cool that people called it the Cold War. Russia and America pointed nukes at each other and waited for a while. Russia built a wall in Berlin. Mexico did not pay for the wall. Then the wall was torn down. Russia and America both got bored, and Russia collapsed. After 2 world wars, the colonies were getting pretty tired of Europe breaking promises and taking stuff. Luckily for them, everyone was tuckered out from all the shooting each other. Some colonies revolted and started their own governments. Europe collectively decided to stop shooting each other. Let's not shoot each other, they said, and so the EU was formed. Now Europe could finally be one big happy family. All the countries toned down the nationalism a bit and signed some pieces of paper. Now Europe is how it is today, because it is today.
Now it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah!
The classical comes along with logic, debate, the pillars of the time.
High cultural ideas as fat as these rhymes. Imperial Rome, administration and philosophy. Urban centers, trade, roads, and Christianity. Coming up fast is the most classical age.
Rome fell apart when kings took the stage.
It's the day of knights and dirty peasants, with growth of trade and new developments.
I'm talking feudalism, loyalty to the king.
Farming all day and fighting over bling.
Paper and printing spread, gunpowder too.
Roman law, luxury goods, religious ideas, all new.
Early modern era about to go down.
There's some crazy changes in these European towns.
Absolute monarchies are the hot new thing.
King Louis grabs up all the power and bling.
Religious unrest and Protestant Reformation.
Republics and exploration in all these nations.
Colonization is the name of the new game.
Most were in it for gold, religion, or fame.
Next in line is the industrial times, with factories and new technological climes.
Glowing unrest led to revolutions against the bourgeoisie and capitalist institutions.
Revolution and discontent spread social schisms.
Led to capitalism, liberalism, and romanticism.
The contemporary era, fresh and new.
Better weapons, big wars, and more things to do.
World War I was a confusing mess. Everyone popping caps to see who's the best. The Triple Entente taught Germany a lesson, but they wouldn't stand for financial repression. That brings us to World War II, more well known by me and you. You see, Hitler made some friends and started a fight. Little did he know that the Allies could bite. Berlin was divided and rulers lost their crowns. Over Europe, an iron curtain came down. Colonies decided they were better off alone, and Cold War ended with no nukes thrown.
I wanna drink bleach.
No. You can't include that
You're
ever.
gonna have to keep